Right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another video. So you have your speed sculpt or what have you, whatever it happens to be, and you want to make it look a little bit better than this standard default gray blob. And you could come over here and you could change the material in the viewport shading options, and that's okay. It'll get you a little bit of the ways, and it looks all right, but it's not great. So what I like to do is number one, change to cycles. EV is okay, but cycles is just so much better. Even with everything turned on in EV, it doesn't match the quality of cycles. So if you have a smaller sculpt, even if your computer's has trouble with cycles, you can decimate this to make it run a little bit better. You can try a few things, but cycles will look better. You can still do this in EV. It's just not going to look quite as good. Um, so number two is lighting. So you can see from my top-down view here, I have a key light, I have a rim light, and I have a fill light. 90% of the time, all I need is the key light shooting directly into the face and the rim light shooting directly on the back. And I'll show you, I'll switch to EV so it's quick. I'll show you the rim light just directly on the back, and it just lights up the entire back of the model. And then the key light is back a little ways, so it's not bright white, but it's illuminating the whole model. And you can move this up and down and around and whatever suits your taste or style. Like if you want the creepy monster lighting, you could go down lower and light them up, or if you want just a general studio lighting, you could move it up. But for this guy, we're going to leave it where it was. And that looks pretty good already. It looks better than just the standard light. Just adding that rim light kind of, I think it makes it look more cinematic. Makes it look more interesting. Another thing I like to do is, I don't do this when I'm sculpting, but when I'm ready to render this out and make an image out of it, I'll come over here into the world properties tab and the color, and it defaults to like a dark gray color, and you can see how it just doesn't pop as well. So I come in here to color, drop it all the way down to black, and that will really help that rim light pop out there and makes it look, again, more cinematic. And final thing I like to do when I'm presenting my sculptures is come into this materials, we'll add a new material, and this is very basic. You don't even need to go into the shading tab, but I will turn up the subsurface to about 1 or 2. So you change the color to whatever you want. I usually leave the brightness value the same and just whatever color you like. I tend to stick to less saturated colors over more saturated colors just because it starts to look a little silly if it's too saturated, but you can already see that that looks so much better than the way that it looked before with the default. It just looks more alive, like it's got light passing through the skin of it. So now when we switch over to cycles, you'll see what a huge difference it makes. And I've got this other material in here that I messed around with more, which I think looks a little bit better. And then when you render that out, it'll look so much better than that default gray blob. One quick extra tip here, if you come into rendering properties and go down to denoising and just click on render, I wouldn't use viewport unless you have a good computer because it slows it down tremendously. But click this denoising and that's it. Just click it and it works. And then when you render it out, you'll have a nice looking, more realistic kind of sculpt as opposed to that flat gray default blob. Now this doesn't look like a fully rendered creature. You're not going to get to lifelike realism with this, but this is just to add that extra little oomph over the default gray shader. So if you got any value out of this video, please like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you in the next one. Take care.